In lesson 2, we're going to take a look at comparing decimals. And your key idea, it says that decimals are another way of writing fractional amounts. The fraction 7/10 can be written as a decimal 0.7. The fraction 7/100 can be written as the decimal 0.07. Remember, in your calculators, if you take the numerator divided by the denominator, you will get your decimal. When reading and writing fractions, it is often helpful to look at a place value chart. This number would be read 12 and 345 thousandths. So the decimal right here, 12.345. We have your tens, your ones, your tenths, your hundredths, and your thousandths. So this would read 12 and 345 thousandths. Remember, when writing a decimal number, if the number is less than 1, write a 0 before the decimal point. For example, 0.7 is not 0.7, so we need to remember to write in that 0 if it's less than 1. On the try this, it says write the following fractions as decimal. Use the place value chart if needed. So, on yours, you are going to type in the decimal that you get. Now, I'm totally okay with if you just want to use your calculator and take 11 divided by 100, because that's going to be the easiest way for you to solve this. So if I take, I gotta get out my calculator, 11 divided by 100, I'm going to get 0. Whoops, I gotta use my pen here. 0.11. So on my place value chart, I'm gonna do that one on this row. That would be 0.11. So that would be 11 hundredths. On number 2, 144 divided by 1,000. That's gonna be 0.144. So on my place value chart, that would be 0.144. So that would be 0.144 thousandths. 144 thousandths. Okay, number 3, you see we have a whole number here. So that whole number is actually going to stay put. We're not going to change it. So my answer is going to start with 1 point, okay? And then in my calculator, I'm going to take 234 divided by 1,000. So this is going to be 1.234. So on my place value chart, this one would look like this. So 1 and 234 thousandths is how that one would read. On the next page, we're going to write the following numbers in standard notation using decimal form. So on this one, we're going to have to read the number words and then write decimal. Number 4 says 3 and 23 hundredths. So I'm going to have 3, and remember, wherever you see the word and is where your decimal point goes. So 3 and 23 hundredths. Now, you can use this place value chart down here. If I'm in the hundredths place value, that's going to be 2 numbers after the decimal point. So this is going to be 3.23. 3 and 23 hundredths. 17 and 12 hundredths. So I have 17, and is where my decimal point goes, 12 hundredths. So hundredths, I'm going to have 2 points after the place value, so 17.12. Number 6, 91 and 8 hundredths. So start with your 91. Where you see the word and is where your place value goes. 91 and 8 hundredths. So this is going to be 0.8. If it was 80, that would read 80 hundredths. Okay, and this is 8 hundredths, so it's 0.8. Number 7, 66 and 5/10. So start with your beginning, 66 and 5/10. Well, my tenths place is right here. It's one spot after the decimal point. So this is just going to be 66.5 for 5/10. Number 8, 101 thousandths. Okay, this one's going to have quite a few zeros in it. So 100, start with your 100, and where your decimal point goes, 101 thousandths. Okay, so we're in the thousandths place value. So I'm going to have 3 numbers after my decimal point. And the only number they give me is 1 thousandths. So I'm going to have 0, 0, 1 for 101 thousandths. If I would have done this, that would have read 100 and 100 thousandths, and that's not what it said. Number 9, 51 thousandths. Okay, so this one doesn't have an and, so there's going to be no number before my decimal point besides 0. Okay, so remember, start with 0.51 thousandths. So again, that's this place value right here, which is going to be 3 after the decimal point, 51 thousandths. So that'd be 0.051. And we do not have to do the reflect. Okay, on your practice page, on 1 through 4, you just have to, it says circle the greater number. On yours, I put an X in a box. You're just gonna put you're gonna drag your X over to the greater number, okay? So I think what's important here is just to remember they're looking for the bigger number, the greater number. So for example, number 1, 0.25, so 25 hundredths or 27 hundredths. Well, think, which one number is bigger, 25 or 27? And I know that 27 is bigger than 25. So that's what you're doing there. You're circling the bigger number. Okay, on 5 through 8, you are going to order those numbers from greatest to least. I think this is where I have the biggest problem, is that kids will go from least to greatest, and it says go from greatest to least. So you're going to find your biggest number and go down. Okay, so let's see, on number 5, I have 1.3, 5.4, 1.9, 2.5, and 5.1. So 1 and 3/10, 5 and 4/10, 1 and 9/10, 2 and 5/10, and 5 and 1/10. Okay, so my biggest number, well, there's a 5 here and a 5 here. So I have 5.4 and 5.1. Well, I know that 4 is bigger than 1. So your biggest number to start with is going to be 5.4. And then I know that 5.1 is going to come next. Okay, so I can eliminate those two. All right, now I have 1.3, 1.9, and 2.5. Well, I know that 2 is bigger than 1, so 2.5 is going to come next. So I have 1.3 and 1.9. Again, you're looking for the biggest number. Well, 9 is bigger than 3, so I'd have 1.9, and then your smallest number would be 1.3. And then on 9 and 10, you're going to order the numbers from least to greatest. So on number 10, you're going to go from smallest to biggest. I'll make a little note down here. Small to big. So on number 9, we have 9.11, 9.1, 9.12, 9.01, and 9.0. Okay, so they all start with 9. So after that decimal point, I have 0.11, 0.1. Okay, this would really have a 0 on the end. 0.12, 0.01, or 0.0. Well, 9.0, 0 is my smallest. So 9.0, that's going to be our smallest number. Then after 9.0 would be 9.01. And then let's see, the next smallest, so would it be 9.10, 9.11, or 9.12? Well, 9.10 would be the smallest, then 9.11, and then 9.12. So I hope you see that we went from biggest to smallest. And then when you're doing number 10, this 9 right here, pretend like there's also a 0 on the end there, and it might help you. Actually, let me go back and look. These ones that don't have a number after them, there's an imaginary 0 there, but sometimes when you're working it with decimals, it's helpful if you draw in those zeros.